All right, thank you all for coming here. Let's give them a round of applause for their... All right. So this part is now open up for questions for these two lovely ladies about their films, about their career, or anything like that. Who has a question offhand?
Georgia.
How long did it take you to get that makeup put on?
4 hours every day. Yes. I was in the makeup for 4 hours. My set call, my makeup call was usually 5 a.m. so that I could be ready to start shooting. And I did that. I actually started off in Basket Case 3 as an extra. I was a specialty extra, and I was cast because I had a resemblance to the actress that had played Elise in Basket Case 1 and Basket Case 2. And then when I went out to the director and I let him know that I was SAG eligible and that I was looking forward to having my first speaking role in a film, he gave me a chance and he upgraded me and gave me a nice little supporting role. So, but yeah, 4 hours every day.
Anyone with another question? There we go.
How long did it take to shoot Pigman out in the woods in South Florida?
I'm gonna let you know. Pigman.
Okay, Pigman, actually, we had fun with that one. It actually took 2 weekends. We did it in 2 weekends. 2 weekends, we did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It took us 2 weekends. A lot of it, as you saw, was filmed at night. We had a lot of things happen, I should say, on that. Oh, yeah. Well, it started out, we had a generator the first weekend that went out, and when it went out, so did the lights, which meant that we had setups, which meant that we had to, like, improvise with whatever we had, where people, I mean, literally, you could not see the person in front of you, so people were walking around with flashlights trying to figure out who was who, and their cell phones or whatever. And then that first weekend, we had gotten all the permits, we thought all the permits that we needed, until the Bartow County Sheriff's Department showed up to check them to find out we were missing 1 permit. So we had to, like, stop immediately and leave. So we did that. And then we had one of our actors, and see, it was so well done, nobody ever noticed. One of the actors that was there the first weekend had a commitment the second weekend, and we filled in with this different actor, one of the main characters, and no one saw that. And then Dante. It was Dante, the first one that killed off. And then I think it was so cold, and we were glad we had that fire going because it was freezing. We filmed this like in November, December. It was so cold, and so we had the fire going, and then we were filming the scene where Stephanie gets pulled out and the blood goes all over the car, and we had done it 2 or 3 times, and now our blood, because it was so cold, had turned back to water, which just, when you threw it, it just ran. So it was like, well, we got to do something. So it was so cold, I had done 3 crock pots full of chili that weekend. And we did that, and we'd eaten chili, and I said, we've got chili. And everybody's like, not the chili! We need to eat the chili! And it was like, well, it's the end of the day. We've already eaten everything. It's like, yeah. And that shot you saw with the blood all over the car, that was actually chili. That was chili. That was leftover dinner chili. Yeah.
But it looks great on camera.
It looked good on camera. You didn't even know that. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it did take us 2 weekends. But we had some fun times doing it.
All right, next question. Well, I have one. What was the most complicated or challenging thing on one of the films that you've done?
Oh, I'd say Behind the Chords.
Behind the Chords.
Behind the Chords took the longest to film. That was the one that took... Of our shorts. That's the one that took the longest to film. We took, I don't know, a year?
Almost 2 years to complete
to film that one.
Yeah.
It was the hardest one to do because, as you saw, we had music and musicians, and when we would get the places, like we booked that place, we only had 4 hours
At Southern Comfort.
At Southern Comfort,
Yeah.
so we had 4 hours to do the band, the music, and the whole thing.
And we had like 50 extras that day.
Yeah, we had a lot of extras, and then
And it was Heather Cross's birthday. I
it was
remember.
your birthday, and we did it. We did a
a
cake
birthday
for her.
cake. We,
So
you
we
know,
celebrated
did
her birthday.
craft
2
services,
cakes, you're right,
catering,
while we were
and then we
there.
had a birthday cake. We did it all in 4 hours.
And it
got
had a
all
lot
that
of
footage.
locations. So
Yeah.
that one definitely had a lot of locations. We had to go to different locations for that one.
Yeah.
So that was probably
Scott
the
was in
most
that one.
Yeah, that
We
was
did
probably
one in an apartment
that
with
was
him.
probably the most challenging
Yeah,
one.
just to get it completed, because there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen
Yeah.
on that, and by the time we were in post-production,
kitchen.
Falling Tree Films was kind of branching off in all different directions, and some of our members were moving into other areas, and so
Yeah.
Pat and I kind of persevered through post-production to get it done, and then Kevin was nice enough to accept it into the Gwinnett International Film
Yeah.
Festival a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kevin, for
Yeah,
that.
And then, so that was probably the most
that
challenging
was-
one.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
most challenging. Good question. Any other questions? Anybody?
People have questions. They just don't ever want to speak about it.
Oh, Jean has a question.
How's it coming, feature film thing on Nancy Farms? How is that coming?
Okay.
Well, that's been a challenge, too.
Yeah.
Let me back up. That particular feature has been in development for 5 years.
Yeah, that's
We started out adapting a book, Second Wind, and then we decided to go into a different direction. We are now using stories by P.K. Bevel.
Yep.
The book is 20 years old, and she has been an assisted care clinician for 36 years. So some of her better stories at assisted living homes have happened since the book came out. So we have optioned all of her stories, and we have gone through 4 screenwriters and 12 rewrites. And now we have a locked screenplay, finally.
And everything else that goes with it, the budget and everything.
Budget, pitch package.
Yep, everything.
We're
And
approaching investors now. Please,
Yeah.
if anybody's interested.
Yeah, we're ready for the investors.
We have a wonderful screenwriting team in LA who are with UTA, which is one of the top 3 in LA. And so they're kind of mining some of their contacts, and we're finally getting to a point that after 5 long years in development, we hope to shoot within the next 6 months
and it
to a
will
year.
be shot here.
And it will be shot
It'll
on
be shot
location
here.
here.
On
We're going to be
location
doing
here.
a lot of casting here. We do have a couple of LOIs from some names in LA, but most of the
It'll be
cast
here.
will be rounded out by Georgia actors.
Yeah.
And we've got Georgia locations. Pat always does our locations, so we've got some good Georgia locations scouted for that. Yes.
I mean, to me, it's such a fantastic subject.
Right.
It
very
is.
timely. It's a very timely one.
It's very timely.
Yeah.
Well, baby boomers are the biggest demographic
Right.
in the country. You
Right.
know, we're all there, and we're all going to be in assisted living homes probably soon. And for those of you who don't know the backstory on this, we've partnered with P.K. Bevel, who is the founder of Second Wind Dreams, which is the largest global nonprofit for the elderly in the world. And she has been working with assisted living centers for 36 years. And this is a funny, heartwarming story about senior citizens. And it's multi-generational. We think it will appeal to grandparents and parents and children. And I'm going to be in it. I'm going to be a nurse administrator, and we have some other people here that are going to be in it. And, you know, our age range for our cast spans from the little grandchildren all the way up to an 89-year-old actress. So it's going to span it all. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that.
From this one, actually stemmed Forgotten Word, because we have been working on Alive, and Second Wind, by the way, now is Alive and Kicking.
It's Alive and Kicking.
We've been working on Alive and Kicking for 5 years, and what happened was we were approached. There's the writer of the book Forgotten Word, Sam Jane Brown. She actually lives in England, and she actually approached us. She came to us and said, I'm ready to get my book into a film. I know you guys have been doing this, and we really would love for your production company to be the person that does our film. So we did.
So now we're doing this.
We took her book, made it into a screenplay. We've got everything done with that, and now again, both of these films are now being approached investors right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And the trailer you guys just saw, the final piece of the presentation, was actually commissioned in England.
Yeah.
And this was a world premiere. So it's a true global project. We're going to be shooting here in Georgia, and we're also looking to getting permits to doing some shooting in Vatican City, because it's about 13 murdered priests.
Yeah.
And it's very Da Vinci Code-esque.
Yeah, it's very Da Vinci Code. And
so,
we do have people in England. I have family in England. We've got other people in England that are actually working on that end to pull that together. Yes. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
Too, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Heather has one. What was that? I missed that. What?
Crackers and cheese. She's over there about crackers and cheese.
Yes. Yeah, we always have crackers and cheese on craft services. We have excellent craft services.
We do real well on craft services.
We've had so many of you in this room work for us for free, but we feed you well, don't we? We feed you well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's important. Crackers and cheese is very important.
And believe me, if we, when we start doing the features, you guys are all
going to be paid. Everybody's going to be paid.
Everybody
when we get our
comes on
funding
board.
for these two here.
Definitely.
So, our favorite.
Wow.
Ooh, we might have different favorites. What was your favorite?
I really didn't have a favorite. I mean, everyone I was working on was fun. I mean, I really didn't
always
have
had fun.
Yeah, we just had fun. If you've not
Communist
worked with
Robot
us, I
Aliens
just
was
have
fun.
to say this. Okay, I'm Positive Pat, and this is Happy Heather, and we are fun. I mean, our sets are always fun. They're always positive. We make sure that everybody's having a good time, and if something starts to go wrong, and we have to jump in there and fix it. We try to make sure that nobody knows, we keep everything positive. So yeah, I've enjoyed everything.
Yeah,
we've
I
worked
have,
on.
and
these are just a few. I mean,
they're
there's
also
others.
different, and we try to stay within the genres to a point for this festival. But we've just done so many different projects, and they're all unique. They're all they have a unique personality, and everybody's family that have worked. And you'll see a lot of the same faces. We've used a lot of the same actors from project to project, so we feel like we're all a big family. Yes, Joy. For the indie films?
Perseverance.
Oh my gosh, perseverance, yes.
Definitely
absolutely.
perseverance. You can't stop. There's no, let's take a few months off and let's just step back. You've got to keep on going. And as female filmmakers, that's really big because we've got to get this done. We are an all-female production company, and we are really working on this. So, we really, it's perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance.
Everything that I would say, anything we've worn all the hats. I am 5 foot tall and have been a boom operator standing on a big box.
And she's a pretty good boom operator, too.
Boom, because I'm not that tall, but we've worn all the hats.
We have.
And I would say definitely perseverance.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
And also, I think if you're an aspiring filmmaker, educate yourselves. Yeah. Because like Pat said, she's been a script supervisor, a boom operator, a first AD, a director, a writer, and I've done acting, producing, casting, script supervisor, crafty, whatever it takes to get the film made. And as you jump into all different arenas, you learn so many different things, and you also end up having an appreciation for what everybody does. And I got to tell you, I just saw Wonder Woman recently, and I was so inspired by being a female filmmaker and seeing a film like that, a superhero film, and having it be directed by a woman, produced by a woman, female department heads in every single department, and that comic is 50 years old, and we're finally seeing it. So I do think, it's time, a little girl power. It's time for the girls to step in and
another thing I would
stuff.
say to that is when you're looking at doing, and anybody that hears this, a filmmaker would know this, sound is so important.
And
I mean,
you
you can
do
something with usually you can get people to hang in there if you have a little glitch on the
in post.
On
You can
post,
fix some of it,
but sound sometimes no. Sound, you just can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good sound.
For indie film, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle. If you're going to raise any money at all, put some of that towards sound. Make sure you do have a good boom operator and you have, good sound, because that shows up at the end for sure. There's somebody way in the back who has a question. Is that Andi? Hi, Andi. A female filmmaker also.
How you guys find your crew and your cast,
We're big on social media.
Yeah.
We have fan pages for every single film project we've ever done. And we are Four Leaf Features. That is the name of our current production company.
We have a
We have
Facebook page for that, too.
A Facebook page for Four Leaf Features. So we post on our pages oftentimes, and we post on Georgia film industry pages. But because we've been doing this so long, we know a lot of people. And so a lot of times we'll just kind of put the word out, and people will get in touch with us and say, we want to work with you. But as we're casting these two, we will pull out all the stops to make sure we have Georgia-based crew and cast.
Yeah, because we're all about Georgia-based. All about Georgia-based.
Absolutely. And now it's such a great market here with the tax incentives. You know, you have a thriving indie market, and you also have these huge Marvel films that are being shot here at Pinewood. So it's kind of nice, and we're hoping to see less disparity between the two worlds and kind of all of us pool our resources together, because we have a very deep talent pool both in front of and behind the camera here in Georgia.
Definitely. Yeah.
Any final questions for these two?
Anybody? No? Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you,
guys,
Kevin, for
coming
this
out.
opportunity.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Kevin, for having us.
You're welcome. I'd like to say one last thing. Thank you all for coming out and supporting these two lovely ladies and all their projects they've been doing and what they have going on next. That will complete this screening, but we have plenty of screenings for the rest of the evening. So thank you so much for coming to Something Wicked Film Festival.